Hi, my name is Deja Spence, and welcome back to the Woman's Village channel, where we discuss hidden knowledge when it comes to women's holistic health. Just a disclaimer, I am not a medical doctor, and this is for entertainment purposes only. In today's video, we are going to be discussing the root causes of infertility issues, just not on a physical level, but also on a spiritual, emotional, and metaphysical level. So let's just jump right into the video. The cause of infertility can come from a lot of different underlying issues, right? So the diet, your eggs, your partner's sperm, right? Poor quality sperm. It can be due to the uterine lining not completely clearing from the previous cycles. It can be due to not having enough iron in your body, and when you don't have enough iron in your body, it prevents the egg from even implanting. Not having enough minerals in your body. Another thing that causes infertility issues is having an imbalance between estrogen and progesterone. So it can be a plethora of things that causes infertility issues on a physical level. But today we are going to talk about the root causes of infertility before it gets to a physical level, right? So on a metaphysical level, infertility is a manifestation of deeper emotional, energetic imbalances and spiritual issues that's going on with you, right? So we spoke about it before, that everything that happens on a spiritual level, it manifests into a physical level, and this can manifest as different blockages inside of the body, right? So infertility can result as unresolved aspects of your inner world when surrounding self-worth, tied to your creativity, your abundance, ancestral patterns, and the energy of the womb. And as I've spoke to my viewers before, that the womb is actually like a junk drawer, right? And so all of the different emotions and our different life experiences, it can cause blockages in the body, and not just in the muscles and not just in the nervous system, but also in the womb, right? And so I know that some of us have like these junk drawers around our house, where it's a drawer where it's organized, but it's not really organized. Like, it's stuff in there that if you're looking for something, you know it's in that drawer, but it really doesn't have no organization. And that's just the energy of the womb. Or when it comes to the womb, it's like an energetic junk drawer, because it's our spiritual center. And when we are going through different things and we suppress different emotions, then it fills up our womb with all this junk that needs to be cleared out, right? I know, like, maybe you have a room, or maybe you have a closet, right? That is a representation of your womb that needs to be cleaned out. And when you have a messy closet or a junk drawer, it creates a stagnation and a stagnant energy. And literally your womb helps you to align with the life that you really want for yourself. So number one is a blocked sacral chakra. Now, the sacral chakra governs your emotions, it governs your creativity, it governs your self-expression, it governs relationships, and also reproductive health. So of course, when you have a blocked sacral chakra, and I know that people don't believe in the chakras, but the chakras is actually called meridian pathways, if you want to get into a more scientific definition. And when that meridian pathway is blocked, then it also begins to block your manifestations and your passion for life, and like I said, aligning with one's true inner world, right? And so a blocked sacral chakra can look like emotional suppression. So when you're not able to really process your emotions because of some type of trauma or some type of life experiences, a disconnection to your creativity, so a lack of creative expression. And we live in a culture where we have these cultural influences and these societal influences that we must be a certain type of way, and it blocks who we truly are. All of us are not here to be exactly the same, and that's why we have a different fingerprints. Everybody in this world has a different fingerprint, no matter who you are, and that makes you you. So when you have a blocked sacral chakra, it definitely is detrimental to you being able to manifest the life that you want, you being able to really hone in on that self-love. Number 2 is fear of motherhood and creation. So as I spoke about the subconscious mind before, a lot of us aren't aware of it, but not your conscious mind isn't running the show. The subconscious mind is actually running the show. And so when you have these subconscious patterns, like these certain fears around motherhood, or maybe you've seen your parents parent in a way that you didn't like, so you have this fear that might happen to you, or bringing a child into a world that feels unsafe could also be a reason why it's blocking your fertility, right? Fear of losing your baby. Maybe you have had a miscarriage before, or maybe you have a lineage where your family has a lot of miscarriages, right? And so that falls into subconscious programming if you aren't clearing out that type of energy. And a lot of that energy sometimes don't even come from you. It comes from the maternal side and the women who are before you, so it can just manifest as repeating family patterns. Number 3, I have unresolved ancestral trauma and generational trauma, right? Feeling disempowered, or just feelings of suppression. And when we suppress our emotions, it's just like us not dealing with it. So most of us, when we don't feel like really sitting with and dealing with our emotions, the first thing we want to go do is go grab a blunt, go grab a cigarette, drink our pain away, instead of actually sitting with our pain and going through the emotions. And yes, this is not I'm going to do this for one day and everything is going to be better. But this is something that must be done as often as possible in order to move past and process certain emotions, so that it's just not in this, like I spoke about before, this junk drawer of unorganized, unprocessed emotions, but you begin to organize things, right? And this releases the stagnation on your life. This can be inherited grief. And when we have grief is stored in the body, in the liver, right? And most of the times that's why a lot of women are suffering with fibroids and different reproductive disorders, because we have these unprocessed emotions. And when you don't know how to process your emotions, then it gets stored into the different organs in the body, right? This can manifest in the womb. This can manifest in the muscles, in the nervous system, in the liver, in your heart space, right? And you don't want to harden your heart. When it comes to having a baby, you have to be nurturing, you have to be receptive, right? All right, so number 4 is an imbalance of masculine and feminine energy, right? And so when a woman is highly in her masculine energy, she really doesn't have time to be receptive. She really doesn't have time to be nurturing, right? She really doesn't have time to really tap into her intuition, because she's so focused on being in her masculine energy, because we live in such this patriarchal society where it's like we always in grind mode. We're never resting, right? But resting is a part of feminine energy, is a feminine quality, whether you're a male or a female, right? And so if we look into nature, we see that nature has its resting periods. We see the animals, for example, bears, during the wintertime, they go into hibernation. Sometimes that we see bugs on a tree. Sometimes we see them moving, and then sometimes we see them be very, very, very still. Even the sun comes up every day, and then the sun goes down, and then that moon represents stillness. It represents quietness. It represents going within, right? But we live in such this patriarchal society that we don't really have time to go within. We don't have time to do these feminine and embody these feminine qualities because of everything that's going on around us. And so also this can be tied to a blocked root chakra, and the root chakra governs survival, being grounded, right, and your safety, right? And so a lot of us grew up in homes that, or environments that we didn't really feel safe. So when you don't really feel safe, it's really hard to open up that root chakra. And so this ties into number 6, which is overworking. And this energetically blocks the womb's ability to conceive. So when you are overworking yourself, when you are so worried, having 2 or 3 jobs, even working overnight. So when the sun comes up, that's when that serotonin is working. That's when we become a little bit more serious. That's when we do what we need to do for the day. But when the sun goes down, that's that melatonin kicking in. That's when we're supposed to go within and rest and recharge our energy. And a lot of times that people aren't really doing that. People aren't recharging their energy. And so when there's scientific facts out there that women who have reproductive disorders, they tend to work 3rd shift jobs. And I'm not saying that this is true for everybody, but there is evidence out there that when you're working 3rd shift, it goes against your cycle, and not your period cycle, but circadian rhythm, right? It goes against the circadian rhythm of the flow of your body, your circadian rhythm with nature, right? Because we are one with everything. The moon, the sun, the stars, nature, the animals. We are one with everything. Emotional trauma being stored in the womb, and this can speak on just sexual trauma, right? I know that a lot of the trauma that we've experienced from our ancestors, being slaves, being repeatedly raped and things like that, and that being a generational curse in our bloodline. So I know that a lot of women who were touched or molested or raped while they were younger, and when you don't heal those traumas and those childhood traumas, then it is stored in the subconscious. It's stored in the womb, right? And so it doesn't bring us balance. It blocks our abundance and our fertility, right? Because fertility isn't just about having babies, but it's about things around us growing, right? How the plants grow, the things that we put our energy into, that it grows instead of just being stagnant and like a rock, right? It's like a seed, right? And so once you clear that energy of that childhood trauma of sexual abuse or abortions, right? Another thing is, as I spoke on before, reoccurring miscarriages, right? Whether it is your own experiences or experiences that you've dealt with in your bloodline, failed relationships, right? Because that is actually a big one. Jumping from one relationship to another and not actually giving yourself the time to heal. And when you don't give yourself the time to heal, then you become your abuser, and then you carry on those toxic traits, right? And so that's why it's so important before we even conceive children, in order to know exactly who we are, what we need to heal, and actually do the work. And that's why a lot of people don't want to do the work, because the work can be too hard. They're so stuck in their ways. They focus on the time that it takes to do the work, but it all matters, right? Unresolved heartbreak, right? And a lack of self-love, that is so real. A lot of people think they love themselves, but they actually don't, because they stay in these toxic relationships that that's not good for them. But the only reason why they do it, but the only reason why they're doing it is because they're comfortable. But love of self makes you uncomfortable, right? It makes you, it elevates you, it pushes you further. Another one, number 7, is the fear of change and transformation, right? So difficulty trusting the process and divine timing. And I really believe that even though that you can be doing all the right things, God has a greater plan, and divine timing actually plays a huge significance on when it will be time for you to conceive. Sometimes it's just not the right time. It's not the right partner, right? God can see things that we don't see, hear conversations that we don't hear, and feel the intentions of others that we don't feel, right? Because sometimes that we can be blinded by love, right? Just in a environment or situation in our lives that needs more healing, right? So I know that sometimes you can think about toxic women like, well, they have all the children, but they're on welfare and things like that, right? But, and then you think about like the mothers who will really be good mothers that's having infertility issues. I can't really speak on that, right? You just have to go to God with that. But I know divine timing plays a huge role in when where what happens in your life, right? Because God says that I knew you before you even formed in your mother's womb. So God already knows our destiny and knows the timing of when things are supposed to happen. And sometimes when things don't happen and then situations happen, you be like, oh, thank God I didn't have a child with this person, or thank God this didn't happen, this opportunity didn't happen at this time, that I wanted it so bad, because I actually wasn't prepared, I actually wasn't ready. And when you are actually ready, then that time will come. Another thing is disconnection from your womb and your body. It's important to have a relationship with your womb, and a lot of women not talking to their womb. A lot of women are going out and doing self-care when it comes to their hair, when it comes to their outer appearance. But what about self-care when it comes to the womb? What about going to yoni steam, right? What about going into meditation? What about doing the things that helps your internal world to create an internal balance, right? And so most of the time we don't include the womb when it comes to self-care and self-love. But it's important to build a relationship with your womb, because she will tell you exactly what she needs. So spiritual and emotional blockages can cause physical infertility issues, and this must be acknowledged, right? So we can be doing all the outside things like eating this way and taking certain injections and certain pills and doing all this outer work, right? But really you're missing out on the emotional and the spiritual work that it takes to physically manifest what you want and what you desire in your life. So make sure that you comment, that you like, that you subscribe to my channel. Make sure you share this video with someone who may be having infertility issues. Also, if you go on our website, we have 2 different fertility packages. We have one for the woman if she's going through infertility issues. We have a care package, and then we also have a care package for the woman and the man, right? And so it's like a divine partnership care package. And so if you are having any type of issues with that, you can check out our website, or you can also book a consultation with me, and a free consultation, and I'll be able to help you with your infertility issues. So until next time, I will see you on the next video.